Hello, everyone, and thanks for giving us a listen. If you'd like to show our support, please check out our Patreon and Linktree under Interactive Distractions for access to additional Day 1 content, as well as to be part of our awesome community. Thanks again, and we hope you continue to be distracted.
Won't stop till we get it. Got a rocket strapped onto my feet. I'm a bad boy, yeah, don't forget it. No rest, no sleep, because we're bringing it on.
Hello and welcome to Interactive Distractions, episode number 431. My name is Christopher Riccio, and I'm here with Jeff Jordy,
What up again?
Jason A. Stryker,
Hey, what's up again, people?
and Travis Baum.
Hi.
And after a week of technical difficulties, we are back, apparently. So after
Fingers
attempting
crossed.
to record 3 days in a row and
Four.
not being able to, 4 days in a row.
Thursday,
not
Friday,
being able
Saturday,
to.
Sunday.
All right, we are back. But
Different
we're not going to
problems
talk
each
about that.
time.
Different problems each time. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about positive things, gentlemen.
Okay.
Having happy
Positive.
things, games, and other stuff that we wanted to discuss, like what's going on this week. So, Jeff, how you doing, man? What's going on?
Good. Not too much going on. I'm back at work again.
Oh,
Still.
no.
Yes,
So, fun.
still.
Are you
Yep.
sick? Are you sick of it yet?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Oh, jeez.
Need that vacation.
I'll trade
Still
you
need it.
better.
Yeah, no, nothing new here, man. Nothing new, nothing exciting. Let's move on from me.
Okay.
All right.
No
All
funny
right.
stories.
Well, then, Jason, what's up?
Not much. I modded my arcade cabinet back there, the little one-up guy.
Nice.
So it's got like thousands of games on it now, which is pretty cool.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Instead of just like 3, which was still fun. It had like it's the Marvel superheroes one, so it had X-Men versus Street Fighter, it had the Punisher and shit like that. But now it's got that and more.
Whoa.
And what?
And more.
Oh,
lots-
and more. I thought you
lots,
said
lots
and
more.
Thor. I'm like, there's a Thor? It's- I just-
996 more. 97, I guess, because you had the 3.
At least.
I'm
Um,
math good.
But yeah, that was a fun little project. Just took an afternoon or whatever. Used a USB flash drive that I had laying around, and here we are. Got games.
All right.
Got so many
deal.
games. That's it for me.
All right. Travis, what's up? We haven't
Um,
seen you. You weren't here with us last week. So, what's up? Or 2 weeks ago.
I
at
didn't
this
even know
point.
you guys didn't release a show last week. What
Okay.
happened?
What's up, dude?
Nothing much, man. Just tired as hell. So I would have missed the show that would have been recorded last week, and then I missed the week before. I have just been insanely busy with a social life. What?
Nice.
What? No, I have a group of friends that I've been hanging out with recently. A lot of people who moved over here to the LA region. And we just started to stay in contact a little bit more and just committed to like doing more things. And that spiraled out of control, boys, like big time.
All right.
Because,
That's in a good way,
yeah,
right?
yeah, no, in a good way, in terms of like, mental health, getting social, meeting
Sure.
people, especially post COVID. But my 40-year-old body,
Yes.
I thought, you think you're in good shape. Like I can go out and run a couple of miles.
don't
Like I
think
can
I'm
go
in
out and
good
walk
shape at
5
all,
or 6
but-
miles. Like I can do all that stuff like a champ, not a problem. Work out 3 days a week, feel good, great. 4 nights going out,
Yeah.
hanging out with friends,
It's
couple
taxing.
drinks. It's extremely taxing. I was like, I thought I was in shape for this. What happened? So
It's a different kind of in shape.
I go out
It is
to
a
eat and
different kind of
I get
shape.
winded reading the menu. Like I'm like, oh, that's enough for me. I'm good.
Yeah, so we did a bunch of stuff, and on top of this crew hanging out a lot, I had one of my best friends come into town for a week, so there were multiple trips to Long Beach to go do that. So tons of driving, tons of
OBC.
traffic. Yeah, it was nuts, man. So, but we did a lot of fun stuff. My brother came, and
Yeah, that was kind of a surprise visit, right?
yeah, a bit.
That's cool.
But yeah, a lot of cool stuff. So a lot of different restaurants, and I think that's probably my favorite part of this whole thing is kind of introducing myself to new places, new restaurants, new bars, and stuff like that, and get a cool idea of like what's around the LA area, because I've been sticking around in the burbs for the last 6 years, so it's
Sure.
been kind of it's fun here, it's great, it's beautiful, but like when you actually get to those really unique areas around like Hollywood and stuff like that, it's really fun. So we did a bunch of touristy stuff too when our friends came in, went to medieval times. Funny story about medieval times. So
You lost
we
a
get
flash drive there. I know, I've heard that.
so we I
Oh yeah, I get that.
we get to medieval times, and the second we pull up, it's packed in there. But the second we pull up, we notice that there's a picket line, and a lot of the actors and
Oh
performers
yeah, sure.
are picketing for better pay, better
Yep.
less abuse to the animals and whatnot. So we didn't know about it. Like this was something my friend wanted to do. Like, let's do medieval
Sorry, did you
times.
say less abuse to the animals?
They're okay with
Yeah, I mean,
some
well,
abuse.
they
Yeah, I
want
was
they
gonna
want
say what's the line? There
they
should be
want
no
they
abuse.
just want better health
Sure.
benefits for the horse and
Yeah,
stuff
no,
like
I
that.
know.
I mean,
Yeah.
So so we get there, there's a picket, and of course, like we didn't know about this. My friend out of town, his daughter was with her, was with him, so he was like, I want to take her to something fun, and like it was like medieval times, what I have planned, and everybody's like, look, you tell us where to go, and we'll be there. So we get there, and then the first thing you see is the picket line. I mean, these people are
Wow.
militant and angry for good reason. Huge fan of unions, so like I fully support that. But like this is a point where like if I think if it was just me and Melissa there by ourselves, and then we saw the picket line, we probably would have got a refund and walked out. But we're with a party of like 10, and there's just no way. So like I'm going and I'm like lowering my head as I'm walking up towards the building, and it's going deeper and deeper in shame as we get closer to the picket line to cross it. And there was this one woman who was holding a sign, and at this point they had been picketing for 22 days. This one woman, everyone was holding a sign like, fair rights, better rights, more pay, yada yada yada. And then there was one woman standing in the back, just like the last person you walk by, that says, "If you walk in this building, you're a terrible person." And it
Whoa.
was at that point where I was like, you know what? I'm okay. That sign right there, I'm okay. Kind of made me mad. Kind of made me a little bit mad, but anyway, whatever. But yeah, tons of stuff, man. Super, super busy. Melissa's out of town last night and tonight. I'm going to pick her up from the airport. But she is off on work, and same crew invited me out for dinner and drinks at an Argentinian restaurant last night. So a night where I was supposed to be
Nice.
hanging out and chilling and calming and getting my energy back, no, went out again. So it's been nuts. So years of being jealous about Jeff's social life.
Oh, I've totally yeah. I
When
didn't
it
do that in
was
40s.
yeah, when it was when it was just like me and Megan staying at home all the time, and then Jeff's got like his crew, his social crew, and like seeing the whole time I'm like, I want to hang out with people. I want to hang out. Like I want friends. And now that I have them, and I'm like, these
No.
bitches are running me ragged.
Yep.
Running me ragged. But boys, I'm here. I'm feeling good, re-energized, and super excited to hear what's going on with Chris's week.
I know. I want to hear
You
from
need to
Chris too.
pause or something because I have a bee in my fucking basement.
Get it.
I think I just did.
We
sounded
can't
like it.
see him on the Indus cam because he's out of frame, but I saw him move away in his camera. I'm just waiting for him to call Crystal in to hunt the bee down for him.
We have.
Oh
we
no,
have-
I don't have to do that because my well, I think I just got it.
It sounded
And
like
then-
you smacked something.
I
Holy
smacked
shit.
something. I smacked
Well, the
something
funny-
pretty good with this thing.
The funny part about it is that like so for the viewers and listeners, so you only see like the blue framing and you see our very slender inserts, but on the bottom of our call we can see the full frame of everybody. So when Chris shot up, he's lassoing a towel around, trying like he's Wonder
It wasn't
Woman.
a towel, it was a box. It was a box.
Trying to kill a bee with cardboard.
I think I got it. I don't see it
No,
buzzing
we'll
around
find
anymore.
out because he's gonna go back and get all his buddies, man.
Yep.
We've all seen Boys in the Hood, man.
Well, I sometimes they are under my deck, and when I open the basement door to let the dog in and out, sometimes one can get in.
I think I saw it.
And that's what's that?
I think I saw it. I
Did
saw
you?
something
Yeah,
fly
it
over your
looks
head.
like something's above your head, and it could be the dithering maybe, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I don't
Now
hear
I'm
it.
all
It's
freaked
very
out.
loud, so I'm pretty sure I'll hear it if it's around. But the one thing is that I had confidence because my cat was tracking it, and my cat Ahsoka is a bee killer. Like she is a murderer. Like I came in one day and there was a this is before we got some work done on the outside of the house, and but I came in home one day and I swear to God there were like 6 or 7 bees on the floor in the basement because they were somehow coming in between the 2 doors that lead into the basement, and she was just fucking killing them as they came in. And I was like, "You go, girl."
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, Ahsoka is my little huntress. She's been taking care of them. But yeah, I heard a buzzing and then turned around and I see both my dogs tracking something with their eyes, right? And then all of a sudden Ahsoka came running, like she had apparently heard something and knew that it was time. But that thing blew right by my head, and I apparently, hopefully, got it with the box. So
All right.
that was my adventure. I don't really have anything else to report.
That's good. You
All
killed a
right.
bee live on air. Yeah.
I killed a bee live on the show. How about that? It was fucking big too.
Sounded like it.
Oh, there it is, right there.
You got it.
Yeah, it's sitting on my desk. It is definitely dead. So I am going to fucking get rid of it.
There
Okay.
you go. So
But
while
while
you're
while
doing
that
that, we should
happens,
probably talk about games.
probably talking about games. So Travis, why don't you go first, man?
Yeah, and all this busy time being out the house, I really haven't played anything new, but I did finish Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, I'm so close.
And even jumped into the first couple of hours of the New Game Plus in Final Fantasy mode.
Yeah.
But going back to the vanilla game, it's such a weird like the game is staged so oddly because it's they heel toe their way through like opening the like in the process of opening the game up, they heel toe so much until like the last act, and then you are completely inundated with all good stuff. You're completely inundated with what you feel like this game should have been for the first, in the first 20, 30 hours. And it slowly gets better and better and better and better until you get to the end. And it's just amazing. It's such a great experience. The side quests are good. The campaign's great. The combat's getting more and more interesting and fun when you're digging into all these builds and trying to like find like the best abilities or icon abilities that kind of like just that you're just comfortable with and you're able to like find the best success in and everything. So I had a bunch of fun doing that, tinkering with little things here and there. And that just, and just by the time I got to the end of the game, up until the point where I rolled credits, I was completely blown away. Completely blown away. So much, in fact, that yeah, I jumped right into uh, a new game plus just to try and see what the early game felt like with all the icons and Uber weapons and things like that. So um, overall, really, really great experience. I wish it opened up to its eventual potential much, much early. That's what's going to make this game like an 8 for me instead of a 9.
Yeah.
But because those highs, man, are so incredibly high. I love the combat. I never once got bored of combat. Never once got bored of it. Not many occurrences where I run into enemies and I just fly past them. Like I wanted to fight. I can't say that much regarding my history with RPGs or even most games. Like sometimes, like when I feel like I'm up to snuff, I just want to, keep on trucking and get through it. But I wanted to do more and more and more with this game. So, it's just a shame that like I was thinking about like because I'm playing Diablo and Final Fantasy at the same time, and there's that everybody has that stereotypical slogan like the game doesn't start until you reach the end game, and that's when the real game starts. And it's like Final Fantasy couldn't be the more opposite, more antithetical to that idea because like you feel like once the game like truly becomes what it needs to be, once the game starts and like everything's really clicking, it ends. So like that's just one of my
Okay.
probably my only gripe. But the highs are
Well,
so high, it's super strong. It's a
didn't they
strong
kind of do that with
finish.
13 as well? Like 13
Absolutely.
was
Yeah.
freaking like one path the entire
Mhm.
time, and then it opened up literally like 5-10 hours before the game ended.
And it was a punch in the face. Like it just like all
Mhm.
of a sudden, boom! Here's 1,000 things that you can do. At
Yeah.
least Final Fantasy 16 trickles it in. But I say they heel toe, man. They heel toe throughout the entire game until you get to Act 3 and everything opens up to where like every side quest is good, every campaign situation is fun, every fight is enthralling, and like it's just and the characters get better. So it's really good. Now I'm gonna go on a limb here, and I think it's without a doubt. Clive is the best Final Fantasy protagonist probably ever. Probably ever. I don't want to say he's the most iconic because I think, characters like Cloud,
Sure.
Squall are going to retain that title. But
Yeah.
voice acting and character acting has evolved so much in video games on top of the great performance by Ben Starr as Clive. And a great supporting cast. Like nothing felt um no voice actor felt shoehorned in. Like Goots got a little. I like Goots at first,
Yeah.
and then Goots got a little bit on my nerves. He's a little cartoonish. But other characters, Jill, even Torgal, Gav, all these characters. These are people that you could, if they wanted to break open, um, if they wanted to break open and do side stories with a whole bunch of characters, they have such a small militia of characters to use and stuff like that. And that's not even talking about super side characters like Dion and all that. Like it's just I don't think Square is done with Final Fantasy 16, and I'm not even talking about DLC. Like I think this is going to be. I think it struck a chord with people about
Think
how
they're gonna treat it like they did Final Fantasy 13, where they release other games within the series?
yeah, I think we'll see other games. Like DLC, I think is kind of a. I would be shocked if we didn't see DLC, but I think that we're definitely going to see more games in this series because it's an ending that I don't think the end. I think if there never was another thing Final Fantasy 16, I'd be completely happy with it. I would be completely happy because I thought it ended very poignantly and perfectly. Um, but I like, these types of endings, so like it just worked for me. Whereas I know that there's going to be a bunch of people who want to see more. They want to see more of these characters. Like there's so much left, to feast on once the credits roll and things like that. So I like glowing reviews. I just wish it kickstarted a little bit faster, but once it does, man, it's some of the best gaming I've had this year. So
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to wrap up. I think I'm at one of the points of no return. There was a fake out, but
mm,
I think now it's time um that we wrap things up, and I'm ready
what
for it. Absolutely.
right.
Go
Right.
ahead.
So it got good so quickly in the end that like most RPGs, I'm with you there. Like, oh, I'm just ready for this game to end. Like, as much as I love Chained Echoes, once I had like 5 to 10 hours left, I was like, all right, I'm ready to just like,
Yep.
punch this sucker in the jaw and just finish it. Um, but it got so enthralling and so good, and the side quest got so much better toward the end. I wasn't ready for it at the end. So yeah, it was, and yeah. So I don't know. I'm kind of
Hmm.
I'm happy it's over, but like, yeah, it was just so good by the third act that
Yeah.
I would have loved more of that,
I
and
need
if they just would have
I need some
shifted that
closure.
towards the middle.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
I, I
yeah.
think they had a really tough time getting footing after like the tonal shift. That
Mhm.
I'm gonna try very hard not to spoil anything, but there's a point where like something kind of wraps up and the shit's revealed, and it's like coming to terms with it. Then
Mhm.
once they do, there's the tonal shift, and then it's a lot of long political stuff for a while.
Mhm.
I think
Um,
that's what I'm in.
um,
Right or
yeah, but then after a while, yeah, as Travis said, it does pick up a little bit. Um, and I've done all my side shit. Like I'm complete there. Everything was, I think that the side quests were a little bit better than I think people are giving them credit
Mhm.
for. Especially towards the end, yeah, like because they're quest lines, essentially. So you're revealing
Yeah.
more and more about like these particular
Yeah.
characters, which
Mhm.
is rewarding, for and it's not just collection quests. There's bounties and shit like that.
Mhm.
There's other activities that you do, but for the most part, yeah, it's um kind of by the numbers. But at least the rewards are pretty good that I've
Yeah.
seen anyway.
Yeah, they've been pretty good.
But I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I can't believe I put this many hours into it. I'm surprised with myself. So
When was the last time you beat a Final Fantasy? I know we've talked about it a while, but I just forgot.
13 probably.
13?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the first 13. I didn't even touch the other ones.
Yeah, me neither.
Where you guys at?
I'm still behind all of you, I think. So,
Yeah, I'm a few hours after the last time we spoke, which I guess would have been last week. I honestly, I'm looking forward to the end because the way Travis talks about it and says everything gets good towards the end. But to me, that's not enough I don't think, to save what I think about the game right now. I like it. I think it's good, but that's what I think it is. It's good. It's a good game with amazing spectacle. And I thought I was done with Diablo, to be honest, when I got Final Fantasy 16. Once I got to level 50 in Diablo, I was like, okay, I'm gonna put this down for a bit. But I keep going back to Diablo, and I keep going back to Street Fighter. Street Fighter's gonna be a thing that's gonna be there for a while anyway, regardless. But I just can't. I can't stick with Final Fantasy. I play it for like an hour at a time, and then
Huh.
I'm just like, I'm gonna play something else. Then I'll play for like another hour, and then be like, okay, now I'm going to something else. So I kind of want it to be over just to beat it, but I do want to see the story play out at least.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to that. But I don't know. I was so hyped for this, and I do think it's good. I just don't. I was thinking about all the games I played this year, and I don't even know if it's gonna make, like, it'll make my top 10, even if it stays as good as I think it is right now. But it's gonna be pretty low on there. I was like, fuck, was not expecting that.
Right.
But I intend to put quite a bit of time into it tomorrow and through the weekend. So yeah, we'll see. That's why I can't really say
that's
where I am, like, without spoiling anything, I guess.
yeah. I still haven't gotten to the Chocobo stuff yet, so I'm still
Okay.
really early. But one of the things that mainly for Travis, but it wasn't on the show. One of the things that we talked about in the attempt to do last episode was, um, I'm just I just wish they would give us more options in the combat. Like, I don't like the
Oh yeah.
idea of only having um, two of the powers for each of the icons. Like, there's more buttons available on the controller. Let me do some extra stuff. Like, let me
Have
do
have
more
you
stuff.
have you been
So
able to earn enough experience to upgrade your abilities and then eventually do the final upgrade, which masters those abilities?
yeah, which
Because
allows you to essentially put them in any icon that you want.
right, yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine and all, but it's like you still only get 4 slots, and there's like umpteen different options that you can have, depending on
Well,
how many icons you get.
eventually you get 3 icons that you can equip at any
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah, so
that,
Oh,
you're gonna
okay,
have
that's good.
you'll
That's
have
good.
6 abilities.
yeah.
You have 6 abilities, and also when you're choosing your icon, there's the circle ability, which is unique to every character too.
Yeah,
So
the whatever the closed distance
yeah,
essentially.
you essentially have 9 powers to choose from when you're mixing and matching. I did so much respecking in the game. Like I wanted it to be perfect for my play style. Um, so yeah, I thought it was pretty
Never mind. Just keep going.
okay.
Nah,
So yeah, I thought it was pretty deep personally.
No, I don't think it's not deep. It's just that,
Not deep, but like it was
I have
it's deep enough for there to be some constant respecking
Yeah.
if you want to do it.
I had enough stuff that I got
oh,
choice
God damn it.
paralysis. So like
Mhm.
I was fine with I think Chris has got another B. Excellent.
No, I got a
I
dog
think
that
that's
wants
what
to take
Chris
stuff.
Oh, damn
I
it.
think that's what Chris is saying, is that there's a lot of choices, but
Yeah.
not enough slots to use them. So it's giving him that
Yes,
kind of
exactly.
choice paralysis. He
Mm.
doesn't want to give up
Right.
certain things.
So
So
one of the things that I mentioned is in the not show is like once you get to the point where you understand who you are as Clive, right? You get a couple of extra things like the fireballs that roam around you. And that would be really cool from like a defensive standpoint, but it takes one of the slots. And I don't want to give
Mhm.
up one of my attack powers for that, you know?
yeah.
So it's like little things like there's minor abilities that he has that are not good enough to take one of the slots, but I feel like would be valuable in the game itself.
Well,
and I don't really feel like I have that option.
I'm gonna let you know right now. I actually use that exclusively. The Will of the Wikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use that pretty exclusively. My first two, my top two abilities are Will of the Wikes, and then this is not really a story spoiler or anything, but there's a Bahamut ability where you can shoot out these projectiles and they stick to the enemy and they cause regular and stagger damage. And then the Will of the Wikes also causes stagger damage. So once I was respecking, I was like, hey, I wonder if I can like start off every fight with double stagger. So I hit Will of the Wikes, the Bahamut ability, and every fight I proc both of those abilities, get them going, and then I start attacking. And I'm like 15 seconds, you're going to stagger enemies.
Yep.
Some bosses stagger super fast, and then once they're staggered, my other two major abilities are all finishers. Like they're all like the major abilities. So it's just damage, 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 damage. Pop a limit break, finish up the stagger with that and everything. I was doing 110.
Oh damn!
I was doing 110 bonus damage or stagger damage
I'm only
pretty
doing like
consistently.
50,000. Shit.
Yeah. So you just have to find what's right for your playstyle. Because personally, I think there are a lot of the abilities that are not great. And so and sometimes they don't fit my playstyle, and sometimes I just don't think they work very well.
I just
like
went
for
with
instance,
what's cool.
yeah, the stagger stuff's not cool, but when you follow it up with 4 ultimate abilities, it kind of brings the coolness factor back.
It does look good. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, Matt. I want to hear your opinion once you get all 3 icons. Because I think your issue, I mean, it could get worse, but it could improve as well when you have that extra ability slot. So,
All right.
And Square, if you make another one, take the dodge off R1. I know I said it last week.
I know it didn't. We said it in the not show, Jeff. We said it in the not show.
So technically, it doesn't exist. But that's bullshit.
Doesn't exist.
Why are you so against like triggers and bumpers for dodge?
I like triggers and bumpers, just not for dodge. What game uses that?
Bayonetta.
We're so trained to use circle or X, like for everything.
Bayonetta does.
So,
yeah,
we'll use the shadow thing. Yeah, it
that's
does.
a dodge.
So that's one series.
Okay,
but yeah. Everything else uses more. Don't play devil's advocate here, Jason. That's
Come
bullshit.
on.
No, I that was one of the things that we talked about last week when we were trying to record. Like I have the same issue. Like I often hit circle instead of R1 to try and dodge, and then I don't dodge and I get hit. So Travis is talking about side stories and stuff like that. I'm totally down for a side story starring Torgal. And make it Okami like let's do this. Come on. No, I think I love having Torgal around. I think he's it's awesome. I do get tired of him saying "sick boy." Like it's just okay, let's turn that part off. But it overall it's just really fun.
Can you turn that off?
I don't know. I don't.
Okay,
I don't know.
You said you did turn it off. I was like, oh, I didn't know you could.
No, I don't. I haven't looked. I don't think you can. But like he's so good to have around to help continue combos and things like that. Like yeah. And then I've started getting really used to holding down the square button and like reaching across the controller to hit circle. Mm-hmm. Just so I can charge up my sword and then dash towards them and hit them when it's all charged up. So yeah, I am enjoying the combat still a lot. So that's good.
Combat is fun.
You'll eventually come across an item called the Berserker Charm.
Yeah,
I think it's called.
Ring.
It's so substantial how much it changes the combat.
Really?
It's surprisingly substantial. Like it almost gives you kind of like a Bayonetta dodge for every successful dodge. Yeah, you get a
time slowdown.
Time slowdown on the dodge, and then you get a special like 6-7 hit fire combo and everything.
Yeah, the limit break activates for
it's fucking
6 hits.
It's really great.
It's hard to see shit when that's going on.
It is hard to see.
Yeah,
shit.
when the limit break is happening, it's kind of hard to see shit.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. That was another thing that we talked about because I'm glad to hear that because the time slowdown is something I really enjoy from a gameplay perspective, but parrying is really tough to time.
Oh yeah,
it's really difficult to the point where I don't even bother most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if I get it,
Pairing just happens for me.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just
yeah,
accidental.
it just
Like,
happens.
you're in the middle of playing the
Yeah.
game, and it just kinda accidentally happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so having like, a more advanced dodge with, some extra benefits, I'm all about that. Sounds good.
Once you get the
Word.
third icon, I want to say you get a parry ability, which you can, if you're already using that ring that slows down time, you're gonna get a perfect block every time. So
Oh,
you
interesting.
use that parry
Mm.
mechanic when the timer thing comes up. You get a perfect parry, and then you get a 3-hit counter attack. It's so much fun, so cool.
Mhm.
Very cool. Good stuff.
Yeah.
That's I mean, we talked Final Fantasy, that's literally all I've played.
Where are we at with
So
Street Fighter?
I'm still playing Street Fighter
Still playing
daily.
Street Fighter? All right, I'm
Yep, still got the
slacking.
AM fights going on.
I'm
Yeah, you need to
like
get on there, man.
I'm like silver 3 now. I went through a bunch of rank
Nice.
matches. Yeah. Finally
Dude,
got
I was
some.
gonna say you should join us for AM fights, but I'm not sure if you're up that early.
Not usually. I usually get up like an hour after
Yeah.
you guys are done.
Done.
Yep.
Gotcha.
It's too early, man.
Nope.
7:30,
We need to set
8:30
up
is too fucking early
a.
for fighting.
Hey, we can go later. It's just that sometimes depends who's playing.
Okay.
If Pigpen's usually going to bed because it's nighttime for him, but his brother, if he's not working, we can always go after. We can go after 9.
That's true. And you work
Usually.
from home, so,
Exactly. So I mean, hey, I'm gonna jump on Street Fighter. What's that now? Oh, it's busy.
Yep.
And
Take
take
my
my
lunch
2-hour
break.
break.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm still playing that. Diablo, are you guys done with Diablo? Not
No.
absolutely done, but
Trying to think
I'm
if
still
I did
digging
anything.
in.
Yeah.
I'm still digging in.
I got a few
Level
more levels with my
94. Yeah.
level 94. Holy shit. I
Yeah,
just hit
yeah.
like 28 with my druid. So
nice.
Pump-
I'm telling you,
chugging along.
guys, we gotta. What's
Yeah,
our
we should do a
Diablo
night.
night? What's our Diablo night?
I gotta get up to that boss again. Once I get up to that boss,
Oh, we can get you up there. I
We can
mean,
get you up there.
yeah. There's no like all the difficulty scales to your own character, even in multiplayer. So
Yeah, the multiplayer is actually super, super well done.
Okay.
Mhm.
except for Travis, if he joins, then he's gonna one shot everything.
That's
Because
cool too.
if you're above 50, it's just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, there's still some scaling going on there, but yeah, I would go in and I would delete everything probably.
Oh yeah, I
I
had a
did-
problem with a boss. The what's it called, boss? The first dungeon, the dungeon that makes it so you unlock Nightmare, the
Mhm.
cap something dungeon.
Capstone, yeah.
Capstone dungeon. I was having problems with the last boss there. I was like, fuck. I'm like, I don't want to respec anything. I'm just like, and I saw Eddie Kusanagi was online. I'm like, hey dude, what level are you on Diablo? He was like 70 something or 80. I'm like, can you give me a hand with a boss for a second? He's like, yeah, sure. He hops in, walked up to the boss, and it looked like he sneezed on the boss, and the boss just like exploded. And I was just like, wow, okay. It literally was 1 second. And I was like, all right, well, thanks, man. Talk to you later.
Yeah,
I'll go
right.
grab my loot.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually
Sounds all good.
changed my build over because I was getting to the point where I wasn't really getting any better gear for quite a few days, and I was like, well, maybe I should just change it up and everything. So I saved my gear for that build, and then started a like a kind of like a ice Gatling gun build for the sorcerer. And today was the day where it finally, because I was missing a lot of pieces to it, so it's just kind of like grinding out all those pieces and those aspects, and getting that the Paragon board just right. And when I say the Paragon board just right, it's me looking through YouTube videos to find someone doing a good Paragon
Oh,
board
yeah.
and
There
me
you go.
copying
Yeah.
that, because I don't have
Yeah.
what it takes to figure that out on my own
That thing's
whatsoever.
scary, man. When I opened that up, I was like, what the fuck is
It's
this?
too much. I love it. I love the power boost they give you. It changes your character, because since the game levels with you, this is the one part of the game that allows you to kind of outgrow everything. So it's super important and very strategic of how you need to deal with that board. But I don't have the mental capacity to do that. You give me Excel, we'll do VLOOKUPs and all kinds of equations. We'll do all kinds of cool stuff. But like, you give me a video game Paragon board like Diablo 4 has, and I got to tell you, man, I'm lost. Like, I'm completely lost, and I don't have that kind of time on my hands. It's kind of like swap in and out those glyphs.
Sure.
It's such a pain. So yeah, YouTube videos for the win
Hell
on
yeah.
that
Yeah.
one.
Are you guys interested in the since we didn't talk about it on the non-show, the first season? Because that's dropping July 20th, I think.
I'm struggling with that with the idea of it, man. Like I want clearly I want the cosmetics, and I have the version of Diablo 4 where it's paid for, like the first 20 levels are paid for already.
Yeah.
Um, and like so I need to mess with it. I just hate the idea of starting a character from level 1, starting a
Yeah.
new character. Like it's not I put 150 plus hours into this character already, and it's like I have to
I
do it
I
all over
saw
again. Like
I
like,
saw
I
well, you're
just
not
don't
doing
want
it
to.
all over again. So I saw someone on Twitter post a good thing. He's like, Diablo's not an MMO where you get a character and you just take that same character. Like it's based on ladders and seasons. So the reason they do that is each season's going to be like a different experience. So you're basically that's the character you do for that season, kind of thing. So it's not you're not technically starting you're starting a new character, but you're not leveling it the same way you did in the base game on the whatever server that's called, with this like main story stuff. That's what I got from their reveal thing,
Sure.
and it's kind of like a thing like here's something to do, get some new shit, and I think that some of this the aesthetic stuff can carry over in terms of the look of it, like the transmog type stuff,
It
just
all
not the
does.
actual abilities.
It
Yeah,
all does, yeah.
because all the abilities work differently and stuff like that, and there are new abilities and different ways to like kit out your gear and shit. So
Right.
I'm kind of interested. I mean, it's free unless you want to buy the battle pass to get more stuff out of it. So I might buy the first one just to see what it's like, and if it's garbage, then what do you do?
I don't know if this is very clear to you guys, as I feel it's clear to me, and I could just be viewing it this way, but like I feel like what seasons are for the developers, I think it's more I think it's less, hey, variety for our consumer, and more, hey, let's get the people who have already paid for the game to beta test new ideas for us. Like, I feel like that's what that is, because they have come out and mentioned that, hey, look, something, a lot of these special abilities or these special modes that we introduce in seasons, once the season's over, those are done. But there may be certain things that we like that we want to carry over into the eternal realm, into the main server, and stuff like that. So it was telling me, okay, so we're going to beta test for you. So,
I think that's kind of
which
the same
is,
with any game like that, though. That's
and it's fine. It's not an
yeah.
indictment or anything like that. I just think it's obvious that that's
I
what they're
mean,
doing. Like
Fortnite
it's
started that way, right? Uh, it was a beta. Mind you, you didn't have to pay for it, but they ended up taking over the whole
no,
game.
that's not what I'm saying. Though. I'm not saying like because this is a finished product. Like the game is a finished full price product, and the fact that we're beta testing new ideas for something that's already a quote unquote finished product. And even though, yeah, it's gonna be like Destiny 2 evolve like crazy over time. So like I understand that Diablo needs to evolve or it's gonna get stale. So that's fine. But it's like I don't know. Like I'm just turned off overall by the seasons. I'm going to give it a shot, I think. I don't know whether or not I'm going to start a new class or stick with the same class. But there are some interesting things that they're introducing, some new socketed abilities that you can have in season one. But in terms of like all of the good thing is like in terms of all of the new weapons, uniques, the aspects that you can unlock, well, the aspects you have to unlock in the seasons and things like that, but like any new items, if you want to keep collecting new items that they add into the game, they will be in the eternal realm, they will stay in the main game. So if I wanted to still hunt for said items on my eternal server character that I've been working on for 150 plus hours, yes, I can still do that and look for new gear and stuff like that. So that's nice. Like I feel like they easily could have said, we will release these new pieces of gear once the season's over. That would have probably turned me off on the game, period, until the season was done, and then I would have gone back. But this still allows me to invest time and energy into my current character. So I am grateful that they chose to do things that way. So yeah, I'll give it a shot, but I just don't know. Starting over
Well,
sounds terrible.
I mean, I got the. It sounds like I need to finish the story first, though, right?
Oh yeah,
They
you have to
Um,
finish
recommend
it.
it, yeah.
yeah. So I need to try and get that done. I'm trying to remember. I'm still on like I think I'm still on Act 2 in Diablo. But
You're
I
gonna
know
have
that
to
I got
start
the
over from scratch, though, Chris. Like, so if
right.
you
I
if
know,
yeah.
but I don't. But rather than start over from scratch in tier 2, world tier 2, I'd be able to move up, right? So um,
So
the
you haven't beaten the game yet.
no,
And it sounds like you have a little bit of a ways to go.
right.
So if you're in Act 2 right now, and then you want to start a seasonal. So if you beat the game with the character you have right now, once you start seasons, you can just skip the campaign and jump into the open world. But
Right,
if
and
you
that's what I'm
yeah,
getting at.
yeah. Okay, yeah. Because I would highly recommend that because if not, wherever you're at right now, Act 2, Act 3, you're gonna have to redo that all over again if you start
Yeah,
with a
and I don't
new
want to do
character.
that.
No, no, no,
And
no.
when is it? When is it? It's like next week, right?
The 20th.
July 20th. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's next week.
I don't know how long it goes on for
That's a
though.
week
I'm not
from
sure if
now.
they said.
Fuck.
It's
God
gonna be
damn
3
it.
months.
Just honestly, man, if you don't even have to do the side stuff in Diablo. They actually recommend you don't even do it till the end game
Oh, I know.
anyway.
I've started skipping it all. I'm trying to go
Yeah,
straight through it. But
shouldn't take you that long.
then Final Fantasy got in the way. So, you know,
Mhm.
I don't know. But I mean,
Let's do it. Let's do a
I can always
Diablo night.
finish I can always finish the story before I start any of the seasonal stuff.
Oh yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
But
I'm actually going through getting all the altars because I want to get my renown as high as possible.
Mhm.
So my
yeah.
character will start with as much potions and stuff like that. So I already loaded it. Like I actually like rolling new characters in Diablo. Like I always have multiple characters, and I have
Yeah, I
another
don't
one
mind
I've
it either.
already started that's like level 20 now. So I actually like it, and I had like I probably like 5 or 6 in most of them. So um, I'm looking forward to it. I just hope it's not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I got the Ultimate Edition, so I got the first battle pass that comes with it, right? So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll at least try it out for that first season. I just need to finish the story first.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
Any more games?
Anyone have any?
When's our Diablo night?
Oh,
I don't know. We'll figure that out though.
yeah.
Let's do it
Let's
We'll
sometime
figure that
yeah,
out.
this
let's
week.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can play in about 30 minutes if you guys want to.
All right. What other games we need to talk about?
Anything new? I do have one new game, but before I go, does anyone else have anything they want to talk about?
No, man, it's all you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention Arcade Paradise. I started playing that thing a couple weeks ago. Dropped on Game Pass. I think it was on PC before that.
It was about a
Have
year
any of you
ago.
guys?
Yeah.
About a year
Yeah.
ago?
Yeah.
Anyone? I'm assuming you guys have not tried that one.
I've seen the trailer. It looks like it's like it's a sim game, but
Yeah, it's like a job simulator type thing. Like
then you get to run your own arcade, which is super cool. So
you do,
Yeah.
and you get to play every game that you put in the arcade. And I think there's like
that sounds all right.
30 different arcade games. So yeah, the premise is you're running your family business. You're a student just out of college, and your dad wants you work at the laundromat to teach you responsibility and all that kind of good stuff. So while you're there, the character, she notices that there's a few arcade machines in the back that actually make more money than the laundromat does. So she wants to expand it and basically turn into an arcade kind of behind her dad's back because her dad's out of town while she's doing all this. So you're basically taking care of people's laundry, picking up the garbage, picking up like taking gum stuff off like chairs, but at the same time you're buying new arcade machines and you can play them. They give you challenges every day that give you extra points and money, and you can upgrade like your shoes to walk faster. And you kind of get in these loops
Mhm.
like a zen, and it's just relaxing to play. It's kind of like, remember that game? We all played it. This is going way back. It was a mobile game.
Was it
Game,
Game Dev? Game Dev?
yeah. Remember
Game Dev
that? And
Story?
that was like a
Wow.
semi.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Game
Game
Dev
Dev Story, but that was like
Yeah.
just like you just put in like things and it does the numbers. It's kind of like doing that, but like in real time, and it's and with other stuff. It's a lot more deep than Game Dev Story, but it's like the same thing. You're making like this arcade, and you can set up the layout and stuff. It's pretty cool. Definitely recommend trying it out since it's on there. It's cool.
Yeah, it's Game
Cool.
Pass.
And what's the name of that again?
Yep. Arcade Paradise.
Arcade Paradise. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely check
Yeah.
that out. There was something when you were talking about it. I was thinking Game Dev Story, and there is something
yeah.
oddly soothing about playing that game. It's so fun.
Yeah.
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 There
It
was,
is.
yes,
It's like,
there was.
yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
All right, moving on.
Good
Mhm.
stuff. Yeah, moving on. I think we have we're skipping news this week, right? We said, Chef.
Oh, we have one news thing that we
Oh,
should probably
okay,
just
okay.
mention.
Oh yeah, yeah,
'Cause-
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because FTC took Microsoft to court to stop the merger. So the judge ruled in favor of Microsoft. So basically now that just means that FTC now they're going to try to appeal it. The first attempt to appeal failed today, which of course that was the judge that ruled against them.
Right.
They have to appeal to her first. She said, "Well, of course not. I just whatever. It's kind of was expected." and the FTC has until tomorrow at 11:59 to get the approval from Circuit 9, which is like I guess the highest level. So if they approve it, then this gets officially pushed for probably a few years. But
Jesus.
Microsoft can still close, though. They can still close the deal. It just means that after the trial goes through, if it is found out that, hey, you know what, this can't happen, they just have to either dissolve
Dissolve it.
Activision,
Yeah.
sell it off, or, yeah. So chances are it's going to close regardless.
Mhm.
But we'll find out, I guess, tomorrow, just before midnight, whether or not the attempt to appeal has been
Files.
granted.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's been filed, but it's whether or not they say
Oh, okay.
they have to present a case and basically say almost without a reasonable doubt that the judge made the wrong decision. So they basically have to prove in like a 24-hour span, because they waited so long to file it, what they couldn't prove in court over the course of
Oh,
3
shit.
weeks. So that's going to be tough. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So that's
What do you
that.
guys
There is
think of
some.
this?
I
Like
can't wait for it to
about
be fucking over. To be honest with
I
you,
mean,
like
I
That's
I'm
agree
more
with
than this
you,
than
but
anything.
like from a
Yeah.
perspective of as a group of gamers, you know, how do you guys feel about the idea of Microsoft just owning Activision Blizzard?
good. Let them have it.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely.
It's business. It's
Yeah.
business.
Why not?
Yeah.
I don't have much of an issue with it either. Like part of
Yeah.
me thinks that they are like that does give Microsoft a ton of power in the industry.
Good.
That might not necessarily be a bad thing. I
Nope.
don't know, but
Good.
it really depends on how they treat um gamers, and they've been pretty good to them so far with Game Pass and things like that. So
Yeah.
um
If
and
you have
the
Game
other
Pass, it's a good thing. I mean,
yeah
you can't if you have
yeah
all that
absolutely
shit's gonna go on there.
yeah no kidding.
Um,
And then but the other part of me thinks that Activision and Blizzard have had so many problems in the past, like just issues galore, that Microsoft taking over may also put them on a better path
I
in
would hope
general.
so.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
possible. Kotic's
So,
first to go if it gets closed. So
oh God, I hope so.
I
yeah,
don't think
That
so.
guy's
I
yeah.
don't think
They've
so.
already said
Really?
he's gone. Yeah, it's public. That's why they're. I think part of the reason why Kotick wants it to go through, because he gets a very good
Yeah.
payout.
Yep.
I'm
Probably
sure he
crazy.
does,
Yeah,
but whatever, get him out of here.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. He's outie.
Well, good.
Yeah, whatever.
all right.
Yeah, who knows? I personally don't care if they call like it's not changing anything really with the stuff that already is releasing. Like that's still going to be multi-platform.
Yeah.
Anything moving forward might not be. That's whatever.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, who knows? I mean, it doesn't. None of us are really. It's not really going to affect any of us either way, because we usually tend to either get both consoles or have a PlayStation and a PC. So
right.
it's really not going to affect anyone here. But for someone, it means more, definitely more to someone who just games on PlayStation or
Just has
just games on
PlayStation.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means more either way. But we did get some listener feedback on this, but I was going to hold them off. We got it from Amy Maisie and Greg Little. The reason I'm going to hold I'm going to put them in like a thing, but wait until it's actually finalized, and then we can get more of like people's thoughts or whatever on it. Because who knows, man? Like, no one can predict this shit. No one has been able to. So, but yeah. But one thing we did have last week that kind of spurred the question of the week, kind of like a revitalization of question of the week, so to speak. I like to rhyme in my spare time. Nothing really, nothing. All right.
No,
uh, with Final Fantasy, sorry, I'm looking at my notes.
We got our
Final.
clip. We got our clip for the week. There it is.
and then you
God.
cut to what's his name? Fucking Jeb Bush. He's like, please clap.
Please clap.
I want to cut to fucking Chris trying to hit the bee. I think that'd be pretty funny. After that, like awkward silence and just swatting a bee. But anyway,
I can totally see Glenn making a clip out of that. That's gonna happen.
Final Fantasy didn't sell too well in Japan, and that wasn't really the news, because that wasn't really too surprising, considering they're mostly about mobile these days. But it did bring up the question that we were kind of talking about off air, and Chris kind of brought it up I'm not sure if it was during a show or off air either. I can't remember, but it was like how we feel about franchises, popular franchises, changing the
Genre, kind of.
genre that they are, because this might have had something to do with why maybe it didn't do that well, because the stages were there, they were slowly going in this direction. But if you were to play Final Fantasy like 13 even, and then this, they're drastically different.
Even 15,
So
I would say.
even 15 it is,
Yeah,
yeah, quite a bit different.
yeah.
So what kind of like what we think, and do you think this had something to do with it? Just kind of go over our thoughts and like examples of games and stuff like that. We have quite a bit of listener feedback here, so let's start with something.
Okay. Yeah, do that.
So let's start with Greg Little. This came in via Twitter,
What's up, Nogs?
and this is a little bit lengthy, so I'm going to kind of divide it up and we can kind of comment as we go. So he says it depends on the IP and the team that works on it. Something like Mario and the Nintendo characters are able to branch out because the characters are so iconic and they aren't really pigeonholed into one world or story. Plus, right people are working on those games. So I do want to interject here just for a second. And we actually forgot to, I did clarify this, is we're not going to include like spin-offs. Spin-offs don't kind of affect what we're going to talk about, because they're not part of the main line. So we did go over that. Then he also says he thinks with the Mario franchise, Nintendo has been to the forefront of innovation. So games like Mario Kart, Mario Party, and Smash Brothers exceed, while other attempts like Sonic and Sonic All Stars Racing or PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale don't do so well. So here's one I didn't know about, and I'm thinking maybe Jason does, and I know a ton of people mock Tecmo Koei's Dynasty Warriors games,
Oh boy.
but that series was was originally released as a fighting
Fighting
game in the
game, yeah.
90s,
Mm-hmm.
and then turning into a battlefield action game.
Mhm.
It has now saved that franchise, and they now partner with other IPs to make similar games.
Saved
I
it.
did not know this.
Save the
Well,
franchise.
I don't know. That's why I
Greg
figured
I
you
Little.
would
mean,
probably know.
I would say that's accurate.
I
Like, could
know.
you
I mean,
imagine it continuing as a fighting game series?
Hell yeah.
No.
No, come on.
Fucking
Come on, Jason.
Super Akuma Libu. Bring it.
It certainly would not be like like those games are their own genre now.
Yep.
Like they have their own, like, what are
Yeah.
they, Museo or something like that?
Musu.
Yeah, so they're their own genre now, and they've helped get a couple of a couple of them released in the Zelda arena,
Yeah.
and then there was one in
That's
the
right.
Dragon
Yeah.
Quest arena.
Persona.
So yeah, does Persona have one too?
Yeah. Persona
Oh
Strikers.
shit, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
That's news to me. Yeah, I mean, I would say that's valid.
yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of like disagree with the writer of the email, like just in a small section. Like, he brought up like Mario, and like with lending to the fact that Mario is so iconic, it's easy to like put him in different genres, which I guess is true. Like, I'm not saying that that's not correct, but what I disagree about, I think it's more of a development thing. It's about vision and execution. At the end of the day, we've seen very many, instances, not very many, but we've seen some instances of genre changing and it just not quite working out. And then we've seen the genre changes that did. Like, the first thing that comes to mind is God of War. It wasn't because Kratos was cool. I mean, Kratos is cool, but like, it's one of those situations where they had a vision. Balrog had a vision, and he had the team to execute, and it was gold. So it just depends on what they're doing. Like, for Final Fantasy, since this was kind of like the crux of the conversation, like, I was iffy on this genre change too. Like, I was questioning it, and I had more confidence after the demo. And then by the, after 70, 80 hours of this game, I'm I'm fully convinced that it was a great choice. So I yeah, I think it goes down to development. Honestly, like, do they have the vision? Do they have the leadership? Do they have the funds and the backing to be able to get it done? I think those are the more important aspects of making sure, like, doing a drastic genre change to a like Mario's. I'll go back to Mario as the example. Like, it's good vision and great development. Zelda Breath of the Wild, some don't like it, but most people do. It's not because Link's cool, it's because of the fact that they had a vision and they knocked it out of the park. So it's just yeah, I think it comes down to like the nuts and bolts of building it out and knowing what you're doing, for sure.
From the perspective of how Final Fantasy is doing, And like Jeff was very, mentioning that it wasn't doing well in Japan. That aspect of it, I I don't think it has as much to do with the genre
The
change
genre.
as it
Mhm.
does with
Pedigree.
the pure, like, I mean, I'm just gonna say it, Americanization of it, because
Yeah, it's
Final
very
Fantasy
American.
has never been that brutal. Like, it's always had, the characters have always had more of a, I don't want to say it was like an anime feel to them, because it wasn't, but there
Oh,
was
it's anime.
definitely a culture. Yeah, it
Yeah.
This
was
game is
definitely more
very
of a culture.
anime.
Well,
Chris,
no,
do
I mean the characters themselves
Yeah.
are more anime.
yeah.
And I really feel like this one strayed so far from that.
It
Um,
does.
that I
Clyde's a
think
straight
that
up
had more of it.
murderer, man. That dude
Yeah,
is fierce.
yeah.
I
My God, he's cold
I think
blooded.
an argument is to be had there for a fan though, because a fan who gets into a genre or series based on a certain genre and that genre changes, I think they have a right to be upset, and that's kind of where this spawned from too. Is people complaining like, hey, it's not Final Fantasy. I mean, it is Final Fantasy in some ways, but it's gameplay wise. Like, I mean,
The
I think
chocobos
I
and
made this.
crystals, but that's about it.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
Boom.
it's still it's
Yeah.
still an execution thing,
It
because
is, but what I'm saying is, regardless of how good the game is, I think people have a right to say it's not their Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I think I made this comparison in a previous show where I was saying if Street Fighter 7 came out and was a card-based game and it was called Street Fighter 7, regardless of how good that card game is, I don't think Jason or I would be sitting here being like, "Well, that was a great decision by them." Like,
Phantasy
we'd
Star
be pretty
Online
disappointed.
Episode 3.
Oh god, yeah. So it's like that. Let's continue
Yes.
on with this because we have a lot. There's a lot more to cover here. Because I think maybe Castlevania might be a good one that fits a success and a failure. It really was just a platformer that turned into an RPG, and is one of the reasons we now have Metroidvania style games. The platforming didn't go away entirely, but it created a new subgenre. So I guess that's kind of like Dynasty Warriors there. Also, Castlevania has tried to enter the 3D action RPG space multiple times. I think most people would say the N64 games are bad. Lament of
Yes.
Innocence seemed to be well received, but further attempts have dipped in quality since. Probably having to do with um, Iggy leaving Konami.
So
So,
the one Castlevania is obviously the franchise that I was going to discuss.
mhm,
They started out as an action platformer, right? That's where 1, 2, 3, 4, Dracula X, Bloodlines, pretty much all the way up to PlayStation, right? And
yeah,
then they took some aspects of Metroid, and they took some role-playing game aspects of like leveling up and new equipment and things like that, and they created Symphony of the Night. And that changed Castlevania forever.
Mm.
But at the same time, they did expand into other genres as well, and he kind of mentioned one of them, Lament of Innocence. But I don't think of that as a three-dimensional action RPG. Lament of Innocence was a character action game, like God of War was. That's what that
yeah,
game was. Now the one that was more like a 3D
RPG.
action RPG was Curse of Darkness, the second one
G.
on PS2.
Oh, okay,
Which
yeah, yeah.
was 3D, and it starred, wow, their character names are slipping my mind right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it starred two of Dracula's minions from the actual animation from Netflix. But that one was very much more like they tried to essentially take what they successfully did with Symphony of the Night, and then the Game Boy Advance games, and then the DS games, and they tried to make it 3D. And I mean, it was a good game. It was a good game.
Mhm.
And then, they kind of fell off for a while, and then made the newest one, and that was full on character action. And where the first one was hit or miss whether it was received well or not, Lords of
Oh,
Shadow 2,
the
was not
yeah,
received well at all. Like, it
no.
just got thrown out. So it's kind of, for Castlevania, it's kind of been all over the place. And they even entered the fighting game genre, which, God, nobody really wants to talk about that game. But it's, they like, Castlevania is something that has branched out a lot, in some cases successfully, in some cases not. Again, it's all about the execution in my mind.
All right.
Mhm.
Dano from Twitter. He says, I think spin-offs are a great way to expand the franchise in a unique way, i.e. Halo Wars, Tiny Tina, etc. But mainline games should probably stick to a similar formula or genre. What do you guys think about that? So spin-offs, we talked a few about those, but we're
Agreed.
talking like numbered. Yeah, I
Like,
think
that's
I
your base,
kinda...
especially if you're, the 5-6 games into a fucking series. To just change it up like that, like they did with Final Fantasy, is a bold move. It
Yeah.
takes
But in
balls
reality, didn't they
or
do it
desperation
didn't
with
they do that with Final Fantasy generations ago?
like in
Like
13.
when they went to 11,
Oh,
like
sure.
they
Well,
11 should have
yeah.
just been Final Fantasy Online.
Right.
Period.
It was.
Yeah.
I know, but
But it was Final
but
Fantasy
they
11
numbered it
online.
as a mainline,
Oh,
and it
okay,
just
okay.
I don't know. I feel like it's weird. They should have just called
No,
it Final
yeah.
I
Fantasy
think it
Online.
has its place in the chronology. I'm in the numbered titles. I
Do you?
thought 11. Yeah, I thought 11 was great.
Oh,
I
11 was
thought it was really
garbage.
good.
Sorry.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Still owe me that beast Spatha, Chris. God damn it.
Oh, you what now?
A beast Spatha
Sure.
sword. Never
Damn
mind.
it.
Yeah, well, I needed you guys to help me get my multi-classing done, and no one would fucking help me with it.
I was
So
busy
yeah. Mhm.
lamenting my loss of my beast Spatha. Anyway.
All right. Lucky Pooch from Twitter.
What's
He
up, Lucky?
says, I would say it probably varies from game to game, but the first positive example that comes to mind is Yakuza going from action beat 'em up to turn-based RPG. I think it's a good way to break up the series from becoming too monotonous, but it could be off-putting for long-time fans. That's another new one, relatively new, because Like a Dragon, I guess, would have been... Is that the one that made the big change?
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
and
that
but
went to
they totally
turn-based
like
stuff.
did a reboot though, right? Not reboot, but rebrand.
Yes, they redid it a couple games for sure. But then they also added the Kiwami games, which are like prequels as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm getting this right. But the gameplay didn't really change that much with those. It was like a dragon that, yeah, it went turn based and kind of off the rails, but it was still like part of mainline, I guess. Yakuza, they were
Okay.
calling it that anyway. So
Yeah, and from what I can gather, like I'm not really into those. I think Travis and Jason have played the most, maybe Chris. But I didn't see too much hate regarding Like a Dragon when it
no,
released.
because
I
it was done well. That was an execution thing. The
Mhm.
characters were well done. There was a good story, and the combat was pretty good. So
Cool.
yeah, they did it right. They easily could have fumbled that. Totally.
Crayman.
Hey,
He
up?
wrote in from Threads. Actually, you can find us on
Oh
Threads.
my gosh.
Interactive Distractions. He
Wait, we're
says,
on Threads?
We're on
When did
"We're on
that
Threads.
happen?
Threads."
All right. I better go make an ID
Chris,
for
you
Threads.
really need to read the Discord every now and then.
Seriously.
Oh, God damn it. Okay, fine.
We should just add
I
him
try to
with like
keep up. It's just
every
really
hard. He said Jack going from platformer to GTA knockoff was okay, but I like the platforming games more. So is that Jack 3? I think that's Jack 3. Because 1 and 2 were
I
like pure platforming and like kind of like a little bit of action.
Which one
I
is the
think
racing
that's
one?
right,
Jack
but I
X.
am not familiar
Hmm.
enough with the Jack franchise.
I've not played a single Jack game ever.
No,
I don't think so. No.
I think I remember 3 being the one that kind of went like open world and and I played it. I owned it. I just didn't play it that much. So yeah, there's another one. Didn't quite like the change.
Mhm.
Amy Maisie, also from Threads. She says
Oh.
Final Fantasy changing from turn-based to a more action type of combat was hard for me. At first I was all, roar, it's not the same, so I hate it, to being more open-minded and accepting change is a fun new way to play the amazing stories the series offers. So thanks, Amy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, yeah, I think that's going to be a common thing in general with Final Fantasy. I think it really does come down to people giving it a shot and being like, this is actually
Yep.
good. Like I get it. I get why people are upset, but it doesn't mean Final Fantasy 16 is a bad Final Fantasy game.
And there are some games that made these changes just because of technological advances,
The
right?
3D ones
I mean,
especially.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially that. Like if you think about Grand Theft Auto, like Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 were overhead,
Mhm.
like just complete weirdness. And then Grand Theft Auto 3 comes out and just rocks like the industry with the way that it executed. I would put Fallout in kind of the same
Mhm.
respect, right?
Yep.
Fallout 1 and 2 were completely different from Fallout 3 and beyond, and New Vegas and all that. And where you still had the ability to play it as like kind of more of an RPG when you started using
Mhm.
the VAT system and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But you could also straight up just play it like first person shooter, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
not only did it go into a first person view, but it literally completely changed genres on you.
yeah.
Mhm.
And that
Marvin
was
Dahm
that
from
was all about execution.
Marvin Dahm from Twitter, he actually kind of repeats that. He's saying he doesn't mind particularly. He liked the Final Fantasy going to action round with 15, and he said changing genre worked wonders for Fallout.
There
Um,
you go.
and then, but going from action to RPG made Assassin's Creed lose its soul, in his opinion. And he does say an honorable mention for XCOM spin-off The Bureau, which he thought was quite okay.
Oh yeah.
I did not
Oh
play that.
yeah. I haven't touched it either. I was thinking about Firaxis, and during this entire conversation, I know it's not a one to one comparison, but on in the inverse of the situation, there are developers who had a really great franchise early on, and then when they wanted to bring it up to a new, like a modern era, um, they did a like those are developers who did a really good job of like keeping the heart and soul, the DNA of the game there, but still making the necessary quality of life and modern gameplay changes that were that they felt they needed to make,
Mhm.
and things like that. And then they messed, and I like the fact that they messed with their genre building. Not genre, like they did their genre switches, still keeping their DNA, but doing the genre switch when they get their hands on another IP. So like it's not a one to one comparison, but developers like Firaxis are doing really cool stuff and kind of subverting expectations. Because I remember when the Marvel game that Firaxis did came out, I was kind of shut off at the idea of it being a card based game, and
Which,
then
oh yeah, okay.
once I got my hands on it, because I was like, I just want to play XCOM with X-Men. Like that's what I want to do. Like I want to play that. And then once I got my hands on it, it immediately clicked, and I was like, this really freaking works. It really works. Again, not a one to one comparison, but it is something
Yeah.
different yet similar that
Mhm.
developers are doing if they want to keep the DNA of their decades worth of games that they've made before.
Yeah, it's
So
a
I
good
think that's
example.
pretty cool. Yeah.
So I did make a list actually. I was going to play a quick little game, but we did talk about most of these within our discussion, and we're also brought up, so there's no point. But I do have one game on here that we have not mentioned,
Mhm.
which I think was kind of polarizing as well, and I know we really fucking liked it. But Metal Gear Solid 5
Yeah.
from 1-4.
Yeah.
That was a big change. Like
I felt it
that
was
And
more like yeah, the huge change of it being like more biome based and kind of open. That was a
open,
yeah,
hardly any
that
cutscenes.
I don't know if I
Like
would call that a genre
yeah,
change
that one's a
though.
little tough one.
I think I
It
would. I think most
it
people remember how people were pretty upset when that news came out.
Sure.
yeah. It's kind of on the cusp of it not and it is. Like because like if you strip away the open worldness, it's a Metal Gear game that we're kind of used to, but with just more modern controls. But yeah, the advent of it being like open biome based, like that significantly alters how you approach that game. Or just any situation in that game, which is great.
Or
So like
I like yeah.
it's so I don't see it as a genre change, but
It doesn't have to be a genre change. It just
it
has to be
is
like
very close.
a
It's
big
very close.
departure from other main lines. I
Okay,
think a
so a
lot of people have
departure,
the
yeah.
issue with the story. Like this, the way the story's told in Metal Gear Solid 5 is, I would say, drastically different
Yeah.
than the at least 1 to 4 of
Mhm.
Solid anyway.
Sure.
Um, that's basically it for that question of the week. But we do have a few other Twitter questions
Ooh.
Excellent.
or
Nice.
threads.
All right.
So let's get through as many of these as we can. So we got one from those ones I'm saving. Okay, this one's a fun one. Okay, so I'm not sure if Travis paid attention to Discord when he was off doing his stuff, but I know Jason and Chris know this. So maybe you can do some quick math, Travis, or just fucking throw a number out there. But Amy says, and from Threads, if each of you didn't buy another game starting right
Oh, right.
now, what's the rough estimated time for how long it would take you to
Oh,
complete your backlog?
Dude, I have over 1,000 games in
I know, arcade
my.
machine.
I mean, not
But
just
like your
that, but
backlog.
my Steam library itself
Yeah.
is well over 1,000 games. Not that
But do you want to play all those?
no, I don't.
Okay. I think your
there's-
backlog constitutes the games you want to play.
You
even if
wanna get
even if
to.
there's like 0.1%, that's still a lot of games.
It's a
for-
lot,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I joked with Jason. I joked with Jeff about this last week. I mean, decades. It would take me a couple of decades. Like
Sure.
I have backlog games going all the way back to the NES. Like I've
Yeah.
got too much shit right now.
Totally.
So if you were
So.
if you were to choose, okay, so a lot. So let's just go like if you were just to take 5 games randomly that you want to get back to. I mean, maybe this is kind of putting you guys in the spot, and it might not make for great radio, but like I'll go like for instance, I do have a few on mine. I got Neo: The World Ends with You
Okay.
on Switch a while ago. I haven't started that. I do want to get to that eventually. Bayonetta 3, and I want to finish Live Alive. So those are like 3 that are like very close, and I think realistically I could probably do that if I didn't buy any other games. I could probably do that in a month and a half, maybe. But all games, yeah, I think I could probably knock out all games that I want to beat that I haven't, and I'd say probably within a year, probably.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Realistically,
really?
I think so. Well, I don't have a lot of my collection anymore. Like you guys kept all of your shit. Like a lot of my PlayStation 3 and
My shit's
360 games.
gone. My shit's gone.
Oh,
No,
really?
yeah.
Like a lot of that stuff's gone.
Jason is all
digital.
Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just all
Jason's
digital.
all
Okay,
Steam.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Like I don't have a huge digital library, and my physical stuff is not what it like. Anything that I wasn't really playing, I kind of got rid of a generation ago. So my backlog isn't that big, unless I start going to like fucking Nintendo and Super Nintendo shit. But
Right.
yeah,
if I took like recent games that I wanted to go back to and play, like I can easily, like just in the last year, I could probably get at least 5 to 10 of them.
knock
You
5,
know,
10 out.
well, no, I would. Yeah, I mean, I've got like 5 or 10 games from the last year that are in my backlog. Right, Bayonetta
Mhm.
3 is one of them, Jeff, and
Yeah.
so is what was the
Oh,
spinoff?
yeah, I forgot about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm still I started playing that and just didn't get back to it, and now I have to include Tears of the Kingdom because we're talking
Yeah,
about
I gotta
Final
add that
Fantasy and
too.
Diablo, and I
Yeah.
haven't even broken the surface of Tears of the Kingdom.
Or the
So and
depths.
Mm.
yeah,
Oh
there you
man.
go.
Yeah.
And then there was there was the RPG that Jason was super high on last year that I went out and
Scarlet
got, and
Nexus. Yeah.
yes, Scarlet Nexus, like freaking played 20 something hours of that game and absolutely loved it and got distracted and never went back to it. So I've
Yeah,
got
see, I forgot about that
I've
too.
got at least
Shit.
10 games that I could say about like just like that. And it would take me at least like 3 or 4 months to get through
Yeah.
all that stuff.
I was more of a Code Vein guy
Yeah.
versus Scarlet
Vein.
Nexus. Yeah.
Mm.
Honestly, right now I don't really have that big of a backlog, surprisingly.
Mhm.
I think now ask me this question September, October, November, I think that will probably change. But right now I made it a point before Final Fantasy and Diablo hit to like just kind of really focus, dig in and complete everything that I wanted to complete, big and small. So right now I think I'm actually pretty clean. If I didn't have Diablo, I'd really not have much to play right now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Amy. It's
Thanks,
gonna take a
Amy.
Thank you,
long
Amy.
time.
Mhm.
Lucky Pooch from Twitter. He
Sup,
says,
Hooch?
since Street Fighter is still somewhat relevant, I have a question for
Somewhat
everyone.
relevant. What the hell?
Somewhat relevant. I need to duck so I don't get hit by whatever Jason's throwing.
When I read that, I was like, really? And I'm like, oh my god. He
Lucky
doesn't know
Pooch just
us.
made some enemies, I think.
You're not a
so this
good
might
boy.
This might be more for Jason and I just because of one of the characters, but I mean, feel free, Travis and Chris, to also. This is a fuck, marry, kill.
Okay.
We got the first set of people are Chun-Li, Cammy, and Kimberly. Now let's pass it off to Jason first. So who are you gonna fuck?
He's fucking A. Chun-Li.
Okay. Mary.
Kimberly.
You can give a reasoning if you want to or not.
No, Kimberly, and
keep
kill
his cards
Cammy.
close to his vest. I like it.
Kill Cammy.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to probably
Before she kills me.
marry Chun-Li, fuck Cammy, and kill Kimberly. Only
No!
because Kimberly's like 14, so I'm not doing any of the other two. So I'm going to
I think she's
keep
older
her on
than
the
that,
kill.
but-
Is she? If she's older, then I might alter it, but I have no idea how old. I mean, she's probably like 16. Chris or Jace or Chris or Travis?
I could care less.
I'm good. I don't need to answer this question.
Alrighty.
I don't need this on the public internet at this point.
All of us can answer this one though.
All right.
So fuck, marry, kill.
Oh, man,
Ryu, Ken, Zangief.
Now we're talking. Now we're having a
Nope,
conversation.
nope,
Okay.
and nope.
I have no problem answering this.
What were the options?
Ken, Ryu, and Zangief.
Oh, I mean, Ken and Ryu are the same guy.
No, I'd fuck Ken. I wouldn't fuck Ryu.
No, I wouldn't
So there
marry
we go.
Ken either because Ken's kind of down in the dumps right now. He's not really stable.
Yeah.
Jason wants to stay with Zangief.
Yeah, I want to marry Zangief.
Yeah.
No,
he wants the wrestling.
It's kill Zangief. He obviously is he's pro Ukrainian war, so we can't really go.
Can't have him. He's got to go.
Have that. Yeah, he's got to go. So take him out.
Definitely not messing with him in the sack. That's for sure. Because he's killing you in that situation. So.
Yeah, I'd fuck Ryu and marry Ken because I'm a leg guy. I like legs. So.
All right. Cool. So that's it. Thanks for all the Twitter questions and thread questions. We will read them in the replies. We'll throw those out there usually once or twice a week. So yeah, keep them coming. We love doing it.
Good stuff. Is that everything?
Everything. Yeah.
Nice. Good job, guys. It was good job. I'm feeling
Chris.
pretty good about that.
That was a quality showing.
Yeah, and I killed a bee.
And you killed a bee. So it wasn't so quality for the bee, but
it was still alive. It was on the desk, still alive, and I ended up.
We need to make sure. We need to make sure that that Chris is. We need to scrub the footage and make sure that Chris's murder of the bee is not on camera because we will get a term. We'll get a terms of service violation on YouTube. For that.
That's fair.
He can't prove if it was him or the dog.
Itself.
So it could have been anyone swinging that thing.
Cool. Well, thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please like and subscribe and tell a few friends about us. Check out our Patreon and check out our Linktree. Linktree is right there in the bottom. And Patreon community is growing and we are having a great time. So please join us. We would love to have you. But until next time, my name is Chris.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Travis.
Play your games and we'll talk to you next week.